I walked into this room, I saw her, and I dashed in love. Can you fill in the blanks for me, please? Absolutely, I fell in love. And this isn't an English problem. You know, Gujarati ma hu prem ma padyo, Hindi mein main pyar mein gira, Italian mein mi sono innamorati di te. Around the world we've been falling and falling and falling in love. Have you ever wondered why we never rise in it? Is there something wrong with love? Galti kiya? And I don't think so. I don't think there's anything wrong with love. I just think we confused the word. Because there wasn't one love at all. There was always two loves. One love is the love that we do rise in, the love for a parent, the love for a child, for a dog, for a game, for a book. This love without intimacy is a love that we have always risen in. And then there's the other love, the love with intimacy, the love that is enigmatic, electric, irresistible, the love that attracts, the love with intimacy. This love, scientists around the world and great NLP speakers like Tony Robbins have called it polarity in the past. And today on this great stage, I want to coin our own word for it because I think the world needs it. I call it amority. Amority is the invisible force that acts between two energies. And these two energies are at the crux of everything that happens in the world today and is happening now. And to understand amority, we must really dig deep into understanding these two entities, the masculine and the feminine. And I just want to say, today we live in a world that's divided, arguing about gender issues, gender spectrums, and all kinds of stuff. But what if I told you we got it wrong? Because truly, what is the masculine and the feminine? Is it just biology? Is it just a few bits here and there that are different? But I beg to differ, it isn't. The masculine and the energy had nothing to do with biology. These are energies. And we've known about these energies as the yin and the yang, the Shiva and the Shakti for centuries. And these energies have characteristics, and when understood, oh man, the world changes. The masculine, when given a problem, wants to solve it, wants to minimize it. The feminine, when given a problem, wants to talk about it, maximize it. That's how she processes it. The masculine wants to control. The feminine wants to flow freely. The masculine wants to protect. The feminine wants to feel protected. The masculine is transactional. The feminine is relational. You don't believe me? Imagine if two beautiful feminine energies met in this room today. They walked into this hall. One walks up to the other and says, "Oh my God, that's such a beautiful dress. I love blue." And the other one says, "Blue, I love blue too. I love the ocean. Do you love the ocean?" She says, "Ocean, I love the ocean. I just bought a home in Lisbon." "In Lisbon, no way. We just started a business in Goa." "Goa, really? My grandmother used to be in Goa." "Grandmother in Goa? I just lost my grandmother. But you know what? Do you want to connect?" And imagine if two masculine energies met. "Hey, how's your day?" "Nice." Still don't buy it? The masculine is what is called an essentialist. The feminine is a nurturer. And let me exemplify. I wish I could bring one of you lovely ladies up on stage. I can't on this one. However, humor me. Can you pull up females, girls, people who have feminine energy at the core? Pull up the bags you carried to this event today. Pull up the bag you carried, please. Yeah, I see it. Pull up the bag. And usually when you take a feminine's bag and you open it up, the first thing that comes out, open it up, the first thing that comes out is another bag. And then there's some sort of another pouch in it. And then there's a rope from 1972 and a credit card that expired 7 years ago and a hand sanitizer that you haven't used since COVID. But what if someone needs it? You need it. And the masculine, what did you carry here today? A wallet, maybe some cash and some credit cards. These energies in themselves have definite characteristics. And I know there's two parts of you today. Some of you see it and feel like, "Man, I feel this." And some of you, if you're in your feminine or masculine, you're looking at this saying, "No, this doesn't attach to me." In fact, you want to fight it. Not just fight it, you want to fight me. I had friends and well-wishers tell me, Yash, don't speak on this subject, please. You're recognized around the world. Don't speak on this subject. It's too controversial. But I think the impact far outweighs the controversy that could come out of it. Because in reality, the only thing toxic about the spectrum is when we start reversing it. When we start homogenizing it, which we will understand in a second. But the only thing toxic about it is when the masculine confuses protection with praying, or being cherished with being cheap for the feminine. These characteristics are absolute. And when at the core, because every single individual on this planet, every single species on this planet is either masculine or feminine at the core, not both. Absolutely not both. However, whoever made us, nature, God, whatever you believe in, it had a sense of humor. As we were growing up, imagine this blue masculine core and this pink feminine core for effect. Imagine these cores, and as we were growing up, imagine you're growing up with this pink glow, and you start to grow up, and every time you had to control something or you had to be the one solving something, you got a pat on the back and a blue mask came on. Every time you had to protect because no one else was, you got a pat on the back and another blue mask came on. And blue mask after blue mask and blue mask, all of us masked this pink core with blue masks all around you. The same with this blue core. Imagine a masculine every time he was growing up and he was told, no, you cannot, you don't have control on it. Don't dare to try and solve this issue. It's out of your control, you cannot. You're not worthy. Pink mask after pink mask after pink mask. And just as the blue and pink cores attract, do you think the masks do? Well, damn straight they do. And these masks, they attract momentarily, and it's causing all kinds of havoc in your lives today. Have you ever met someone you really felt attracted to, and a week later you're like, oh my God, how did I do that? How did I ever be in a relationship with this person? It's because your masks attracted initially. And then over time, there was one point in time when a small opening is created and the cores come into contact. And for instance, his blue core repels your blue mask. And that repulsion causes all kinds of risk. That repulsion is the reason we have what we call loveless marriages. That repulsion is the reason why we have commitment issues. Some of us have given up on relationships altogether. This is why people cheat. That repulsion happens when the masks become permanent. And some of us do want to fight it. We get confused. But know that nowhere was there a mention of the feminine being weaker in any sense. If anything, the feminine's more fierce, more intense than the masculine. The problem comes in the inversion of it. In the name of equality, we're being served homogeneity. However, amority exists when a feminine at the core comes into contact with the masculine. And I'm not just saying this. Science believes it. Biology runs love like a duet. Vasopressin, oxytocin, dopamine, our love and reward systems, all of them work together. They're two parts, one line. Complementarity is key. Science shows that every time we put on masks, we create distance and intimacy dies. But it's not just intimacy. We have a 28% rise in PCOS cases over the past few years. 1 in 6 people have infertility issues. 1 in 6. There is a 50% drop in sperm count over the past 40 years. This isn't romance. This is public health. Amority creates this invisible force that makes the world go round. Once upon a time, about 8 years ago, I used to have this friend, and she was this incredible woman, strong, loyal, courageous, amazing. And I truly loved her. She was my friend. I loved her as a friend, no spark at all. And she was someone who would guide me in everything that I do, was helping me build, business that I built. She was in fact the woman helping me date other women and tell me who was right for me. One day, I remember one distinct evening, we were sitting and chatting, and she started for the first time ever sharing with me something, and she broke down. She broke down, and this wall around her collapsed, and for the first time, I saw her for who she was. Her feminine came out, and in an instant, I cannot express it, in an instant there was amority. Today she is my wife. Amority, when exists, is when the violins go off. That's what poems are written about, art is made of, that's what movies are made of, not love, but amority. And amority exists on a scale. And this scale, which we now introduce on this session today, is a simple scale between the masculine and the feminine. And the idea is, at the edges is the maximum force, is the maximum pull, the maximum attraction. And as you come towards the middle, it fades. And as it fades, we lose value. We lose that magnetism. We lose that pull. Amority is not just something that we experience once in a life. Amority is something that can exist forever. You know, I remember I was speaking at an event, and on stage we had a big audience, and right in front I had an old elderly gentleman, an elderly couple, and they guaranteed were over 70 years old, and I couldn't resist. I was speaking for 2 days, and I would see them every single second of the show. They would constantly be touching each other. They would be, there was this spark between them, and you could see it. And at one point I couldn't resist, so I went up to them and I stopped the event and I said, "Ma'am, I just need to know, how long have you been married?" Was my first question. And she says, "Son, 40 years. I said, 40 years? And that's how you guys still are? How do you do it? What's the secret? And she looks at me with a cheeky smile, and she looks and tilts and she says, "Son, we try everything." And I said, "Man, there's a way to keep amority alive." It still existed. Amority exists when we are in our true cores. And I want to share with you today, because it is that important to us, that our superpower, the feminine superpower, is in the feminine core and being true to its core. The masculine superpower is to be in the masculine core, and whatever relationship we're in today, it is the responsibility of the masculine to bring out the feminine in your partner, and the feminine to bring out the masculine in them. It is the responsibility, if you want to break a mask from the feminine, remember, vulnerability is your true strength. And for the masculine, to create a safe space for that vulnerability is their true strength. Because on the edges, amority exists. In the name of equality, all we are getting is homogeneity, and it is not our similarities that make us great, but it is our differences that truly bring us together. And hence I wish that we always continue to rise in love and never, ever stop falling in amority. Thank you.